Hello and welcome to the Fitness Professor. Today we are talking about strength training and fitness from childhood to old age. Yes, indeed, our headline today is actually in English and is taken from the original paper that I basically want to explain to you here today. It is by my friend Avery Faigenbaum, the renowned and well-respected leading expert and scientist in the field of children's strength training. A beautiful new paper has just been published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, Bridging the Gap Between Strength Span and Lifespan. Yes, what does it actually mean? And I believe I can explain this entire paper to you with just one slide. Anyone who wants to know more can simply download the paper and take a look at it. In my opinion, it is very, very well done. In this visual representation, we observe the entire span of a human's life, starting from the early stages of childhood, progressing through the various phases of adulthood, and finally reaching the later years of old age. And here, the green line, which is clearly marked as A, is supposed to describe a strength-oriented lifestyle in a way that is meant to be understood and appreciated. So that means, if you will, a lifelong strength training path, and the red line B represents, well, an inactive path, which unfortunately so many people indeed tend to follow. Generally speaking, this is quite common. Maybe a few numbers. Let's start from the very beginning. At the very beginning, the number one more significant strength span leads to a greater strength reserve. We know that low muscular effort in terms of training simply leads to inactivity, resulting in reduced physical activity levels among children. It's a kind of self-perpetuating pattern. Children with little muscle strength are worse at sports. Children who are worse at sports usually lose interest in sports, and if they don't do sports, they don't get stronger. This creates a vicious cycle that's hard to break out of. This further leads to doing little to no physical activity, which can also result in various overuse symptoms and common injuries, creating a sequence of new and recurring problems. Here we see, for example, that in general, the relatively weaker children and adolescents are, the higher the likelihood that they will also, and as a result, tend to become weak adults. Yes, therefore, when we look at adulthood, we know that only 17% of adults, globally speaking, meet the WHO recommendations for strength and endurance training. This is a significant concern because strength and endurance training are crucial for maintaining overall health and well-being. That is, of course, really very, very little, indeed 17%. And we know that this lack of movement and strength can have extremely serious health consequences, whether it's injuries or severe illnesses, and even mortality is indeed, of course, a topic of extremely serious discussion. And we also know that conversely, strengthening, that is, muscle training, sports in general, but especially muscle training, leads to an improvement in the physical and also psychological condition on a biological level. That means we would have 1,000 arguments to say that by maturity, I should definitely start strength training. Yes. And when we look into old age, we see that if I increase the gap between untrained and trained individuals, we simply know that the functional capacities of the elderly are preserved, including their physical and mental capacities. This means that their overall well-being is maintained at a higher level. And that is very good. They can continue to participate in daily life, they can continue to take care of themselves, and they won't become care dependent so quickly. Keyword sarcopenia, I've already made 1 or 2 videos about it. And we also know, the data shows this very clearly, that lifelong activities such as regular exercise and mental stimulation, for example, can counteract denervation, which is the breakdown of muscle-nerve interaction due to aging or inactivity, and that, for example, the important type 2 muscle fibers, which are crucial for strength and power, are less degraded with age. And these are all arguments to say that it is in fact particularly and absolutely important to train in old age, and the longer you have been training, the greater the gap in between. Indeed, undoubtedly. Yes, what else do we have? Of course, we indeed have demands on the body, definitely. That means, especially in old age, it indeed makes very good sense to train intensively sometimes. So not just maybe pulling on a resistance band, although that's not bad, as a tough resistance band can be heavy too, but really challenging the muscles, for example, to specifically target these type 2 fibers, because there is often a lack of explosive strength in old age. Yes, in summary, one can undoubtedly say that lifelong muscle training is extremely important to maintain muscle mass, function, and comprehensive health, and of course, to counteract general decline, as well as, if you want to be healthy, do strength training. That's the clear message. Avery Faigenbaum has emphasized this again with this excellent paper. I have also made a great video with Avery on the topic of strength training for children. And to sum it up, strength training for kids is great. So get to the weights, have fun, and thanks for listening.